Turning to football, and Chinese team Shanghai Shenhua has arrived in Sydney without many of their star players for tonight's AFC Champions League clash against the Sydney FC at Aussie Stadium. 7 players, in fact, are out injured, and the Chinese are using the game to blood some of their younger players. For Sydney, a win could set up a virtual grand final for the top place in Group E with Japan's Urawa Reds. And Sydney has been boosted by the return of several key men themselves, including captain Mark Rudin, who's been battling a calf strain.
It's going okay. Obviously, I haven't trained since the last game against Persic. Yesterday I had my first full session, albeit about 45 minutes, and today I've trained fully.
Probably the luxury that we've had is that we've got 2 weeks in between all the games, so it's given him enough time to get over that one. If we had been playing week to week, he might have missed a game, but yeah, it's a good boost for us that he's back there.
A few big names watching the match as well from the stands, including Dwight Yorke, Tim Cahill and Jason Kalina.
Well, you've just heard from David Zdrilic, but now you get to hear more. He's a key player in tonight's AFC Champions League clash with Shanghai, and he's taken time out to speak with Fox Sports reporter Mark Ashton.
Victory's the only option for Sydney to stay alive. It'd be a good time for you to break the goal drought, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a good time, but I think more importantly we've got to just get the win no matter how we do it. We've been playing well, and obviously it's a bit of a interesting game to come up against a Chinese team who have nothing to really play for, but sometimes that can be quite dangerous because you know, they've got no pressure on them. They know that they've got nothing to play for. They're probably concentrating on their league, and sometimes they can be very relaxed. I think the important thing is we've got to make sure that we're on top of our game and we play the way we can play, and if we do, I don't think we'll have any problems.
Now, Shanghai came into the tournament as one of the big guns, and as you said, they haven't got nothing to play for. They haven't won a game. They're still dangerous though, aren't they?
Well, they are very dangerous, and I think the first game that we played against them, it was a good time for us because they were just you know, gelling 2 teams together, so there was a lot of uncertainty in their camp. A lot of players who normally would have been playing regularly probably had lost their spot, so there was probably a lot of problems in their side at that time. And obviously for us it was a good you know, we had to get over a bad season, and I think we did it in a great way. But now it's a different story altogether. They're coming off probably in a disappointing season. They've got a lot to prove, and they've got no pressure on them this time, so it's going to be an interesting encounter.
Now, there's up to 7 players that haven't made the trip. That could probably work in your favour, but the enthusiasm the new people will bring into the team will be a danger too, won't it?
Exactly. I think they've got a big squad and they've got a lot of players. They've merged 2 teams together, so that means they've got a lot of players to pick from. So I think the players that are coming in are going to be good players anyway, and I think they've got a point to prove. So that could, you know, we got to make sure that that we're just on top of our game, because I think a team like that is fully professional and they're going to have good players on the bench to come in. So we can't rest on our laurels. We know we've got to get a win, and we've got to go attack them from the first minute.
Now, Sydney's obviously got a big Chinese community, and they're expecting a big crowd out there supporting Shanghai. Do you think that'll nullify Sydney, or you know, the Cove's impact on in the crowd?
I don't think so. I think when you saw us play against Urawa Red Diamonds, they brought a lot of their fans, and it just made for an amazing atmosphere. And I think the more fans they bring, the better, because when you've got that sort of rivalry, even in the crowd, and look, they're not going to bring as many as you know, as our crowd, so we're not going to be outdone there. But I just think it's important that we get a good atmosphere. Whenever you play in front of big crowds and big atmosphere, it always makes for a better game, and the players get pumped up even more, and you know, you're motivated anyway. But I think it just adds that extra dimension. And I think that you know, it's good that we're playing in Asia, because it does bring out these close neighbours and a lot of crowd that we probably wouldn't have got otherwise. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully they bring a crowd like the Japanese did.
Now, Mark Rudin's been struggling with a calf strain, but he looks like he's going to be right to play. It's going to be a bit of a boost to have the captain there, isn't it?
Well, it is. He's been great in the centre of defence, a big guy like Mark, and yeah, that's I guess the problem coming off a long season. You're going to pick up niggly injuries. This is a bit of a different kind of format where we're playing a major competition after our season's already finished. It's not normally what goes on, but you know, so you're probably going to see a few little niggly injuries coming up. That's what's happened with Mark. But probably the luxury that we've had is that we've got 2 weeks in between all the games, so it's given him enough time to get over that one. If we had been playing week to week, he might have missed a game, but yeah, it's a good boost for us that he's back there.